Before I get into anything, first I want to apologize for being, gone for a bit of a time. But I'm making up for it. But I also want to thank you for 22K. Amazing. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. I can't do that because I'm trying to be sophisticated. You guys can do that. I'm just gonna give you a good video. Hopefully you'll like this part. What if Naruto had Julius's powers? I'll be bringing back the recaps because I feel I should give you a choice whether or not you want to listen to it. And sometimes the descriptions be full as hell. So yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button to stay updated on all my future videos. And without any further ado, let's begin. Before I begin the recap, feel free to skip to this time if you do not want to hear it and you're all caught up and you remember everything. But if you do not, stick around and I'll just recap it right now. So the last part began with Naruto fighting and beating Tsunade as he revealed to her that he can control time. After this, however, Tsunade still does not want to be Hokage, and she says she will at least apologize if Naruto can use the Rasengan and master it. She gives him a week, and Naruto puts himself to work without using his time powers, but as time comes to pass, he gets closer to complete the jutsu, but he wore himself out far too much. He ended up battered, and the next day when he woke up, Tsunade went off and met Orochimaru. However, she changes her mind, and after being influenced by Naruto, who tried so hard just for her, she tries to fight Orochimaru, but ends up fighting Kabuto, who she starts losing to, just as Naruto steps in and freezes him. He then proceeds to use the Rasengan by combining it with his powers to accelerate the rotation while keeping it contained in a time orb or time sphere, chronosphere, and uses this to kill Orochimaru, only for him to then show that he was a reanimation, not that anyone knows what that is yet. With this win, Tsunade gives Naruto her necklace and places her hopes on him, and they return to Konoha as Naruto will celebrate a bit with Teuchi and Iruka and everyone else, and new Kage is crowned. One day after talking with Iruka, Teuchi, and Ayame, however, Naruto goes to see Sasuke, and things go wrong. Sasuke asks for a fight, which Sakura tries to stop, but to no avail, as the two go up to the roof, and Naruto doesn't hold back, knocking out Sasuke with a punch to his face, and this would make Sakura mad at Naruto, asking why he did that, and she would accuse him of doing this on purpose because he's jealous. Naruto then explodes at Sakura, telling her to shut up, before then healing Sasuke and leaving, and Kakashi, when he soon arrives, after hearing about everything, goes to see Naruto first, and comes to realize that he doesn't even like Sakura. Naruto comes to realize he doesn't even know anything about Sakura, and his feelings are just fake. Along with this, he was in a bad spot, so he didn't really know how to handle the fight with Sasuke. He felt stuck. Either he held back and he made him even more mad, or he hit him too hard and Sasuke would just stop talking to him. He felt stuck like that. But Kakashi helped him, let him get through it, vent a little bit, and Naruto starts to slowly recollect himself. However, the next day, after Kakashi talks to Sasuke, he leaves, and Sakura tries to stop him the night prior, but fails miserably. A team is then sent after him with Shikamaru leading it, and Sakura knows she messed up, but apologizes while still asking Naruto to try and bring back Sasuke because she failed and she did not shed a single tear. Naruto makes a promise to bring him back, and this leads to everyone fighting their own enemy on the mission, as Naruto would then fight Sasuke and beat him easily despite him entering the third stage of his curse mark form, but his powers give him a vision of the future. He doesn't quite understand this, but chooses to let Sasuke go because he has gone too far off the deep end, and even if he brought him back, Sasuke would just be captured. And on the way back, when on the way back to meet the others after he let Sasuke go, he learned that everyone had been saved by Gaara and his siblings, and he also meets Kakashi, who easily understands what happened without Naruto even needing to say anything. And this incident puts Naruto in a bad state for a bit, but he is brought back out of it by Hiruzen. He and Jiraiya then plan to leave soon because of Akatsuki, but moved by Sakura, Naruto is brought to Hinata, who he knows now likes him, and gives her something, bringing them closer, and he leaves for 3 years. When he returns, he seems significantly stronger and more cheery, having gained even more of a reputation in the ninja world, and Sakura, Konohamaru, and Hinata meet him at the gates, and then he goes to see Tsunade. A few hours after Naruto had arrived, word spreads in the village as Lee would then run to and find Neji training, and he tells him the news. "Is that so?" says Neji. "Yeah, doesn't it excite you how much stronger he must have gotten? The fact that he grew in itself must sound pretty good to you, but I'd rather not fight Naruto again. It was pretty terrifying." "Is it really that weird being caught in chronostasis, was it?" asks Lee, and Neji says, "More terrifying than you could ever know." We then cut to Naruto at the Konoha training grounds as he would stare down Jiraiya while Tsunade, Kakashi, and Sakura watch, and as he stretches, Naruto would then say, "Now, what I'm about to show you is a bit too much to handle, so hold on. If you keep overhyping it, you're just gonna ruin the surprise," says Jiraiya, as Sakura would then ask, "What are you talking about?" Master, did he tell you? She looks to Tsunade, who says, completely in the dark here. Hey, hurry up, would ya? Naruto would then say, fine, as he would smirk, and he holds his hand out, and as he does, he bursts for chakra as he begins to be pulled right above him and form a scroll. This scroll will then open up and unroll itself while unwrapping around Naruto, leaving the others confused. It's just a scroll, isn't it, said Kakashi? Use your Sharingan, said Jiraiya, and Kakashi, hearing this, does, but becomes wide-eyed, saying, how did you do that? What is it? Asked Tsunade, as Kakashi would then say, that scroll. Not only is it made from his chakra, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Naruto then turns to face them, saying that he'll do it. About a year ago, when I was training, my chakra moved on its own and made this. You know what's amazing about it? This scroll made jutsus just for me, and they activate automatically. Hearing this, they all realize why this is such a big surprise. He made an automatic jutsu release scroll based on his powers, unintentionally, but they all have one question. How? Looking away, Naruto and Jiraiya then nervously scratched their heads as they would ask, you don't know? We just recently learned how it works, Jiraiya would say. The scroll gains a new jutsu whenever he trains harder. That's about all we know. But how? That's insane, said Sakura, and Naruto would say, and that's why it's such a big surprise. He would then snap his finger and the scroll would retract and re-roll itself up before then disappearing, saying, as of now, and Naruto would say, as of now, I have 5 main jutsus. I can see why you wanted it to be inconspicuous and bring us here. Well, Naruto, you may return to your ninja duties. If you actually studied a bit, though, you would already be a jonin by now. Well, I'm not perfect. Alright, me and Perry Sage were gonna fight, says Naruto, and as he pounds his fists together, however, Tsunade says that it is not needed. Besides, you just want to show off. You don't know that. Tsunade would then say, Jiraiya didn't help you keep a poker face. You aren't gonna fool a gambler. Naruto would then say that he doesn't need a poker face before then disappearing from sight, and Sakura would then say, this is really gonna change the team dynamic, huh? Not as long as you pull your weight, says Kakashi. Being strong can only get someone so far. Sakura would then nod as Tsunade would then dismiss them, and as they leave, they say goodbye to Jiraiya, who then walks up to Tsunade, and he would say, hey, guess what else he learned? As Tsunade looks at him, asking what, he would then smirk, and she becomes confused before then understanding what he meant, but she couldn't believe it. It can't be, she would say. Naruto, meanwhile, will be walking in Konoha, just checking things out when he comes across Shikamaru and Temari. Shikamaru would then say, Naruto, you really came back? Yep. Damn, wow, I've never seen you so serious before, and you're here too, huh? Tomorrow would then say the training exams are about to start this year, so we're supervising it together. And I thought the San and Nasu would be on bad footing. I guess that's a good thing, right? Shikamaru with a nervous look then says, it's complicated. Regardless, good to have you back. Hope you're not still the same knucklehead. Yeah, you're hoping for way too much, man, says Naruto. And Shikamaru would then say, that's why I said hope. And he would then chuckle, and Naruto would then say, he's definitely loosened up a bit in these past few years. Oh wait, what about Gaara, says Naruto. And Temari would then say, yeah, it's Lord Kazekage now. And hearing this, Naruto would be shocked as he would then clean his ears before then asking her to repeat this, and she would smile, saying, yeah, he became a Kage like a few years ago. And Naruto would smile, saying, I never took him for that type of guy. You're the one who changed him, Naruto, thought Temari. We then fade to black. The next day, Team 7 will be walking the halls of the Hokage building and heading to Tsunade, and along the way, they are run past by a woman who seems distressed and in worry, and Naruto would say, I have a bad feeling. Why? Asked Sakura. Naruto would shrug his shoulders, saying it's just a feeling, and as they reach Tsunade, there with her would be Uruka and some other shinobi organizing missions to send out, and Tsunade would then say, alright, B rank, some rogue ninja have been wreaking havoc. She's then cut off by the door being opened by the same lady that the team met along the way, who says, we received urgent news that the Sense Kazekage has been taken by the Akatsuki. All those present will be shocked at the news, with Tsunade then becoming far more serious. I will be changing your mission. Team 7, you shall hereby head to the sand and assist in any way, and if possible, rescue the Kazekage. Those bastards again. I knew that feeling meant something, thought Naruto. Quickly they then move out towards the sand, and along the way pick up Temari, and as they jump from tree to tree, Naruto would then say, yeah, this is too slow. Hold on, I'm gonna speed you guys up. Making a hand sign, he would then summon a scroll, which would confuse Temari because she can feel something is different about it, but she just can't put her finger on it, and Kakashi would ask, what do you have in mind? Naruto would then clap his hands together as the letters on the scroll spread from the scroll and attached to them, as he would say, Chrono Release, accelerate. Instantly, they all passed Naruto at the speed of sound and are left speechless themselves. A sealing jutsu? Asked Sakura. Appearing right beside them, he would then laugh, saying, it only lasts for a few minutes, but it'll be enough. Don't worry, your perception is enhanced along with it. And Temari would then say, this is amazing. She then comes to a stop when she sees Naruto raging, almost about to reach his breaking point, just from thinking about how scared Gaara must be, and she sees that Kakashi and Sakura also notice how motivated he is, so she doesn't say anything else and just keeps moving forward, allowing them to near at hypersonic speeds when they actually try to move forward themselves. And Naruto would think, hang on, Gaara. In the span of just 2 days, meaning that they make it the very next day, they head to the stand. They arrive at the stand and are brought in by some guards. And instantly, when they see Tamari accompanying them, they don't really like struggle or anything. And as they head in, they say that Kankuro was hurt in the struggle to help the Kazukage. As Tamari would then ask, "What happened to him? He was horribly poisoned, but if he's here, it should be fine, right?" As one of the guards would look to Naruto, Naruto puts a thumbs up, saying, "That's easy work for me." The confidence that he showed would make the guards more relieved, as Naruto is well known for usually never having injuries because he heals himself very easily. So running and running, they soon reach the treatment room holding Kankuro. With them, they see Chiyo and her brother Ebizo trying to help him, and what's it called? Baki is there. My bad. However, as Naruto and Sakura run past the elders and kneel by Kankuro, Chiyo would become horrified when she instantly sees Kakashi, and she would blitz him, and he would find her fist at his face, just as they all hear chronostasis. Instantly, the elder would be trapped, leaving all the ninjas present, such as Baki, shocked, and Ebizo would say, "Are you that boy? The warlock, was it?" Whatever you call me," says Naruto, and they'd be thinking, like, he didn't even use a hand sign, and Baki would think he has become far more formidable. Shio would then look around and she's at least able to move her eyes, but she just can't move her body at all, and even her chakra, and she'll be terrified, while Kakashi would just be asking why she attacked to begin with. "I think she may have mistaken you for the White Fang," says Ebizo, and Kakashi would say, "Oh, I miss Sun." "What a coincidence," said Ebizo, and at this moment, she is then released from chronostasis, but her actions continue involuntarily, causing Kakashi to dodge, as she would then land beside him, and as she rises, she then begins to laugh, saying, "Oh, sorry, I must be going senile." "Oh, really?" says Naruto. "Shut up, kid," she would say. And Sakura, meanwhile, would have just extracted some of the poison in Kankuro, and she gives a nod to Naruto, who holds his hand out over him. He would then begin to glow as Kankuro's fatigue and bruises all leave him, and he instantly would sit up, saying, "Naruto?" "You're welcome," he would say, and Ebizo would think, "Amazing. He looks as good as new." Turning and standing out of bed, Kankuro would be amazed at the effects, with the medical ninja even being amazed at Naruto's power, and Kankuro would say, "Seriously, how do you do that?" "That's classified," said Kakashi. "I rewinded your time," says Naruto, and Sakura would yell, "You idiot," as she would then just punch him on the head, saying they were supposed to keep that a secret, like that's a secret of the leaf, and Baki would say, "Rewind time? Time manipulation? How can such a thing even exist?" Naruto, as he apologizes, then says, "I don't know, but it does. Man, Sakura, what have you been doing these past years?" "Well, I wasn't just slacking. In any case, I can make the antidote with these, just in case anything happens. We can counteract it in the future," Sakura would say. And Kankuro would say, "Oh, I can help." Looking around his pocket, Kankuro pulls out a cloth he ripped off of one of the Akatsuki members, and Kakashi would come and take it, thanking him. Sakura stayed for the antidote, and me and Naruto will be heading to the Akatsuki. And as they all nod, they then start running their own separate ways, with Kankuro then saying to wait as he is coming along, but Naruto says to stay. "I can rewind your time, but that mental fatigue remains. Just leave it to me." But he would then be tapped on the shoulder by Tamari, who shakes her head, and he would sigh, saying, "I'm leaving him to you." Naruto puts a thumbs up, and they run out, with Sakura then asking the medics if there was a place she could work, and they start leading her there. And Tamari would say, "I can't believe you can control time. No wonder." "But did he dish out that information on purpose, or was it an accident?" asked Baki. Tamari and Kankuro would then say on purpose instantly, making everyone wonder if he's just stupid or naive. Naruto and Kakashi, meanwhile, be running through the sand, being led by Paku, as Paku would then say, "Nice to see you again, kid," and Naruto would say, "Same, you haven't changed at all, huh?" "I'm in my prime. Kakashi, you need to summon the others. We might need to spread out," says Paku. And nodding, Kakashi summons the other 7 dogs, and they spread out while tracking the same scent, just in case, And soon they end up in a forest, and they're actually met by Chiyo, and Naruto would say, "What's this crazy granny doing here? You kids just don't have any respect for your elders anymore, do you?" "I assume you're joining us," said Kakashi, and Chiyo would then say, "Been a while since I've been able to move around this much, so if you don't mind." "Fine, just don't slow us down," said Naruto, and they continue, and she would then ask why he even cares so much, to which he stays quiet, and she would sigh, saying, "Fine, don't relay information like a ninja. I have the nine-tailed fox inside me." This catches her by surprise, as Naruto's very tone becomes somber, and she realizes why he wants to save Gaara so much. Times have changed so much. Last slug woman as a disciple, and this child, she would think. She can only smile at how much the new generation is developing, and they're at least much more caring than they were because, well, they couldn't be. It was times of war, and it just made her very happy. They then continue and run through the forest as Chiyo tells them about what they learned from being attacked, and they soon exit the area and come out to the open field when they are stopped when they see Itachi. And Chiyo would say, "Those eyes, it's him, isn't it?" Kakashi seeing this sees Itachi Uchiha is about to suggest something, but before he can even finish his words, a quick gust of wind brushes past him and Chiyo as Naruto has disappeared, and when they look forward, they see that he's already been caught in Naruto's chronostasis, as Naruto would then say next time, you should come yourself at least. The orb would then rewind Itachi's time as he reverts to someone completely different, and Kakashi would say a diversion. They're desperate. Let's move, says Chiyo, and with a nod, they all run off, leaving the man in chronostasis, while Itachi returns to his body, his true body, due to having been booted out of the jutsu, and he slowly opens his eyes and slightly now understands Naruto's power a bit more, though not completely at all. Sasuke's in very good hands, he thought. As they continue to run off, the team then feel another presence, with Kakashi and Chiyo coming to a stop before then jumping back, while Naruto doesn't move at all, and as he looks up, Kisame will be free falling towards him, swinging down Samehara. Long time no see, kid, and as he reaches Naruto, the boy will then hold his left hand up, forming an orb before then pulling back his right hand and punching, causing a ray of chakra to then release and strike Kisame across the torso, and this blows him apart. Instantly, he then opens his eyes in his true body and will be annoyed before then seeing Itachi was already up and standing. He got you that fast? You can keep up either, huh? Man, whatever, I wasn't even going full power, but we're still gonna have to chase them down, right, Seki-sama? Itachi then nods, and this annoys the shinobi, just as they then disappear with the body flicker jutsu, and luckily Team 7 meanwhile reaches the place where Gaara is being kept, but find a seal blocking their way in the form of a giant boulder with the parchment on it. But holding his hand out, Naruto forms a chronosphere, which would blast and fracture it to nothing, but as he does so, waiting for them will be a gigantic three-headed dog, as he would then snarl at them before then lunging forward, but Chiyo says, those eyes, this isn't a normal summon, it has the Renegon, says Kakashi. The Renner what, says Naruto, and Kakashi then says it's a powerful dojutsu, seen said to have been possessed by the god of Shinobi himself, and the dog would then instantly get caught in chronostasis before he can even reach them, as he becomes frozen in time, leaving the two shot at Naruto's range and activation time. And as Chiyo looks back at Naruto, he would then summon his scroll before then swiping to the right, and the dog shatters before he then disappears and appears right inside the cave between Sasori and Deidara. The both of them then instantly go on the attack, only to be trapped in chronostasis, and Deidara would then think, it's the QB brat. When did he get this powerful? Didn't he touch and that monster get sent after him? As Kakashi and Chiyo then enter, they see holograms of three people on the fingers of the ghetto statue. The only thing that will be visible, however, clearly is their eyes, and the main pain would then speak. You know not of what you interfere with, Naruto Uzumaki. I don't need to. You're gonna give Gaara back to me, says Naruto, as the scroll will then begin to shine, and instantly, a chronosphere will then envelop the entire ghetto statue, taking Gaara's beast, and envelops Gaara as well, as Naruto would then say, Chrono Release, contain rewind. He would then clap his hands together as he screams and explodes with chakra, and all of the energy absorbed by the ghetto statue would instantly return to the Jinchuriki, as Naruto's nose would then begin to burst with blood, and Kakashi notices and says to stop, but he doesn't even react. His loyalty is insane, thought Chiyo, as the jutsu then finishes and Gaara then begins to fall, but the chronosphere would then shrink onto him, only keeping him time locked with the pain, then saying, just know, you have signed your death sentence, beast. Naruto would then swipe his nose, as he would then quickly re-heal and say, bring it on, I dare you. The ghetto statue would then return to the earth and disappear, and Chiyo would then walk up to Gaara, locked in time, and she would ask, so you rewinded everything? Not everything, that mental trauma is never leaving, I should have gotten here sooner. He then walks to Gaara and cancels chronostasis as he falls into Naruto's arms, and his scroll would then fly to him, and he would close his eyes, and letters from the grimoire, or I guess scroll, would fall onto Gaara's stomach and engrave themselves on top of the seal for the Ichibi. Inside Naruto, Kurama would see this and be wide-eyed, saying, impossible. Is that... No, it's something much more different. Out in the real world, Kakashi would then ask what he just did, and Naruto then says, it's not going to help much, but I use chronostasis to... well, in seal form, to make sure that anytime the Ichibi tries to use this chakra, it just returns to him in an endless loop. Oh my god. Chiyo would then burst into laughter, saying, man, you really are dense. You just found a perfect mechanism to keep it trapped. What do you mean it's not gonna help much? You're such a stupid child. I can't tell if you're praising me or insulting me, says Naruto, and Chiyo would say both. Thanks to you, this old lady didn't have to lift even a hand. And Naruto then, after hearing this, would smile, saying it's not a problem. And Deidara would then almost barf, thinking of how cheesy they were being. And Chiyo would then walk to Sasori, and she knows that it must be him, and she blames herself for how he has turned out. You know him, Naruto would ask, as he walks up, and she says that he's her grandson, which leaves him and Kakashi baffled. That guy looks nothing human, says Naruto, and Chiyo would then say he wasn't always this way. I still remember how meek of a child he used to be, but thoughtful. I failed him. I should have taught him to appreciate while we're still here. It's too late. But that doesn't mean you should blame yourself, says Naruto. And Chiyo, hearing this, then looks to Naruto, who says, I never got to meet my parents, so I can't understand how he feels, but I know that even if you didn't show it, he cared. He probably still cares about you. Kakashi almost feels nostalgic having to listen to Naruto once again give such words of compassion to someone else, and she would thank him and wishes that she had only, caught on sooner. However, they all then sense some people approaching, which breaks the moment, only for them to vanish weirdly, as Chiyo would then say, reinforcements? They must have been called back. We'll talk later, says Kakashi. Right now, we need to return Gaara. Agree on this, they then start to move back to Sunagakure, and as they reach the village, waiting for them will be a huge crowd, which leaves the leaf shinobi a bit surprised. The crowd of shinobi are weirded out seeing the two Akatsuki members in chronostasis, but they run up even more happy that Gaara is okay, with Kankuro then running over, and he is handed his brother, with Tamari and him just being happy as they would lay him down, and slowly he opens his eyes and finds that everyone is here, but something was different about himself. He then heard a familiar voice and turned to see Naruto behind him. How do you like my gift? Gift? Is Shikaku gone? Asked Gaara. No, even I'm not that stupid. But truth be told, he's not ever gonna mess with you again. I heard from tomorrow you don't get enough sleep. As they hear this back and forth, the shinobi wonder what this means, but Gaara knows that he'll find out later anyway, and instead holds his hand out and Naruto shakes it. When you become Hokage, let's have a drink, he would say, and Naruto says, well, I need to study a bit. Wait for me. Watching the two shake hands feels as though not only have two shinobi have become comrades, but it feels as though Suna and Konohagakure have grown a bond, and in that moment there is only silence. 3 days then pass. In accordance with the mission being completed, Tsunade was now working to get an alliance started out between the two villages, but on the same day she's called in by Homura and Kohaku, the leaders, and Tsunade would then ask, you want me to what? You must not send out Naruto Uzumaki on any more missions, says Homura. Tsunade would then say, okay, I want you to go to that brat and tell him that, and guess what he'll say? A Jinchuriki is a Jinchuriki regardless of their power, says Kohaku, and Tsunade would then say, well, this one can control time, so think of something more reasonable. Naruto's our best chance against the Akatsuki. It's thanks to him we have 2 of them locked up. Are you saying you cannot reel him in? Naruto is not an animal, and don't use that condescending tone with me, because Master Ruzen retired. And again, the day you can tell him what to do yourself, then we can have a talk. There are certain procedure to these things, Tsunade, says Homura. Tsunade would then say, fine. Can you settle for someone having, maybe someone supervising the fox? The fox, not Naruto. The 2 others then look at each other and back to Tsunade saying that it will be so. Naruto, meanwhile, will be walking around the village with Hinata, who is frankly still quite shy, but she's trying to get out of her comfort zone, and they actually start enjoying each other's company, until on the way, they end up meeting Kiba and Shino, and Naruto would then say, wait, that's Akamaru? You're huge, man. As Akamaru barks, Kiba would then jump off his back, saying, you're really back home. Shino would then say, it's good to see you again, Naruto, and Naruto would then say, wow, Shino, you look so mature for some reason. Nice. Thank you, said Shino, and Kiba would then say, so, what are you 2 doing out here? Hearing this question, Hinata would turn bright red, and Kiba and Shino looked at each other, while Akamaru would growl confused, and Shino would then say, don't tell me it's like that. Hinata would then meekly nod, with the boys then looking to Naruto as Kiba then yells, took you long enough. Wait, what? Naruto would say. Everyone knew but you, says Shino. Naruto, with a serious look and shock, would then look at Akamaru, and even he nods, showing that even he knew, and this absolutely breaks the Chunin as he bows to Hinata, saying he's an idiot. No, it's okay, says Hinata. I like you being you. Not that you're an idiot. Shino would then say, it's okay, Hinata. He gets it. You do, right? Why is everyone treating me like I'm stupid? Yells Naruto, and the 2 boys burst into laughter, while Hinata tries to tell Naruto that he's not stupid at all. A few hours then pass, and Naruto is called to the gates of Konoha. As he arrives, he would then see Kakashi and Sakura, but 2 new people as well. Kakashi says, Naruto, I wanted to introduce you to Sai, your new teammate, and Yamato, an old buddy of mine. Okay, why though? I've been sent here to keep the fox under control, says Yamato, and Naruto then says, that's already been taken care of. What? Sai would then also look as surprised as Yamato, and Sakura would then remark, did you do what you did for Gaara to yourself? Naruto nods, saying anytime he tries to use his chakra, it's reversed. He essentially stopped trying to mess with me after 1 year, so I guess really don't need you anymore. That's a harsh way to say it, said Yamato. Did he do such a thing for the Kazekage as well? Then am I needed at all? Thought Yamato. Naruto at this point then walks to Sai and shakes his hand, saying, nice to meet you. Welcome to T7. I guess you've already met Sakura. Sai would then say, yes, indeed. Kakashi, meanwhile, then says that Naruto should come with them for now to talk about this, and he says sure, while also telling Sakura not to attack him, attack Sai, and Sakura would ask Naruto why she would, and Naruto would say, just a feeling, as he would then shrug his shoulders, and they then poof away. She then started looking at Sai with suspicion, as when Naruto says a feeling is like coming onto him, it starts to allure that something that actually happened, so she's getting a bit weirded out. Naruto meanwhile would call for the elders and Tsunade to listen to him, and this leaves him in the council room with the three, as Kohaku would then say, "You no longer have the need for a guardian? Is that what you're saying? I swear, if you say that again, I will put you in chronostasis for an entire day." While this scares the woman, she tells Naruto not to speak as he wishes, to which he says, "Well, when you say guardian, you're saying it in terms of a beast, not a human, so I will do no such thing. Granny, tell them." Tsunade will then say, "It's not that easy, Naruto. Also, the Akatsuki will be hunting you soon. Are you confident you can fight them alone?" Naruto will then smile, saying, "They literally can't lay a finger on me. It doesn't matter if they have the Renegon or whatever. I'm an anomaly myself." This reminds the elders of the reports about the godly eyes that they saw, and Homura then says that this isn't just a matter of strength, it's about politics. Naruto, however, says to fuck off, as at that point he doesn't really care if it involves politics, and he turns. "If you tell him to follow me, I'll lock him in chronostasis, so just don't." He would then open the door and leave, and as soon as he actually goes to leave, he ends up locking eyes with Danzo. "It seems I'm too late," says Danzo. "Yeah, seems like it." Naruto would then walk past the man, telling Danzo also not to get in this way. "Sending Sai my way was a bad idea, man. If I see any one of your other spies, they're kaput." These words leave them all shocked, as Danzo would then turn only to see that Naruto was gone, and he thinks, how much does he know? After slightly threatening the council, however, they do decide not to step in, as he could easily beat them all, so there was no point in trying to convince him, and so they tell Yamato to stay back while Team 7 heads out. However, Danzo calls for Hiruzen to talk about Naruto's behavior personally, and after getting back to the gates, however, Kakashi and Naruto see that Sai was battered in the face, and his face was cratered into the ground, as Sakura would be fuming, and Naruto was barely holding back his laughter. "So it did happen," says Naruto. "How the hell do you even know about these things?" Kakashi would then run to Sai at this moment, pulling him out and asking if he was okay, but he'd be a bit too dizzy not knowing how to answer, and for a moment, Naruto would then speed up his own perception, allowing him to see a mark on Sai's tongue, and noticing this, he would smile before then clapping his hands, saying, "So, we have a mission though, right, Sensei? Let's get to it." "Right, and no matter the reason, you cannot just hit a fellow teammate like that. This may take some getting used to, but you have to accept that he's gone," says Kakashi. Sakura would then lose her fiery temper and gain composure, apologizing as Naruto would then heal Sai, who feels his fatigue melt away, and he would then think, so this is the ability to control time. However, unknown to him, Naruto had also rewinded the seal on his tongue, giving him back his emotions, and though Naruto did not know what this seal did, he instinctively, being guided by his powers, felt that things would be fine, so he just left it as it is. So they begin their journey, with Sai getting a taste of Naruto's Chrono Release, accelerating him, while he also got to see a glimpse of his scroll, and this allows him to get very far, well, all of them very far in just one day, reducing their travel to search out Orochimaru by like 3 days-ish, so they're kind of getting closer to the location that they were supposed to go check out. They don't know where Orochimaru is. In this version of events, this is just like them like searching certain places that the village has mapped out and are guessing that Orochimaru is at. After his capture and like interrogation, Kabuto was killed, so they tried to take as much as they could from his brain using the the Yamanaka clan and all that. You get what I'm trying to say. Kabuto is dead though. Yeah, that nigga's dead. I don't like him. So the next day, they take a break somewhere, and Sai would take some time to draw, and he does so by a waterfall when he then hears some steps and turns to see Naruto, who would say, "So, how you doing?" He comes near and kneels down, seeing his sketches, and Sai would then ask why he's here. "Are you perhaps trying to find out hidden intentions?" "Nah, I was just bored." "That's a good drawing. Who is that?" Sai would then look at the drawing of a certain boy and say, "My brother." "And what brought on this need to draw, huh? Maybe you're feeling a bit different?" Sai, hearing this, gets suspicious, as obviously Naruto is trying to get at something, and looking back at the picture, he starts to remember his brother, and as if he was reliving his moments with him, Sai begins to cry, and as his tears hit the paper, with a look of shock, he wipes them, but they won't stop. What did you do?" He quickly turns with a swing of his arm, and he goes to hit Naruto, only to see that he is gone, and he is left overwhelmed as his tears won't stop coming out, and in that moment, Sakura will then walk out, asking, Are you okay?" Feeling embarrassed for the first time in years, the shinobi would then leave using the body flicker, as Sakura is confused as to what is going on with him. And as their journey continues, Sai would be asking Naruto what he did to him, but the ninja leaves it vague, only saying that he helped him. But Sai is still a ninja, and suppressing his emotions is something he can do regardless of the seal, though it is a bit much harder now. To make sure they are ready, Kakashi would then have himself, Sakura, and Sai fight Naruto in case that Orochimaru tries to escape like last time, or Naruto bizarrely gets weakened by him. Coming at him with a punch, Sakura would then have her hit deflected by Naruto, only for her to then use the momentum to then flip forward, as she would then go to lock his head between her thighs. However, Naruto disappears in a yellow flash and appears behind her just as he then feels and disappears to the side, and you would then see a warp being in effect, like right where he was. A warp would begin to be made by Kakashi, and Naruto would then say, "That's a neat trick you got there, sensei." "It drains me a lot," says Kakashi, and Naruto would then say that's what he's here for, as he would then be looking around for Sai, and when he spots him in the trees, from below, ink snakes erupt to grab him, but exploding with chakra, he blows them away as he appears right in front of Sai and grabs him by the collar. "Hey there, buddy." He then throws him down after grabbing him, and he is caught by Sakura, who buckles with her feet breaking into the ground, but her save allows Sai to draw a gigantic eagle that would screech as it flies towards Naruto, who lands on a tree. Kakashi would then appear on the bird and stare down Naruto, and using a new Sharingan, he would then start to warp around Naruto. He starts to warp around Naruto's stomach, but as it begins to, happen, a chronosphere would then form, just freezing it. And Kakashi would then think, even that doesn't work? He and everyone are then blown away by a shockwave from Naruto's chronosphere, which after reversing the warp then expands towards them. It just explodes out, and they are left on the ground completely beaten, as Naruto would then land and kneel to them as he starts to heal them, saying, "You guys are making progress." "How did the roles switch so fast?" says Sai. At this point, they're already healed, and they stand as Kakashi doesn't feel any strain from using the Sharingan like he usually would, and he will say, "Thanks. We may not have to do this, but just in case. We don't know where Orochimaru is, but if we manage to stumble on him, then you get what I'm trying to say." Naruto would then say, "Oh, about that, I can track him, kind of." Forming a chronosphere, he then explains that after the change in his powers went on through at the age of 15, whatever his powers are connected to a certain point in time, whenever he uses chronosphere on someone in general, things related to it, for example, if he trapped one of Sai's drawings, he can automatically feel a sort of tug to his chakra and where he is, and with this ability and his ability to also see the future, that feeling is amplified, and he says that he can see the future. However, after his explanation, he sees that they are all shocked about one thing and knows what it is. "Yeah, I didn't know I could trap people that way either. I know, it's amazing." "No, you idiot, we're hunting him down," says Sakura. "I mean, it's a good thing you can trap people that way, but don't you think that mentioning that you could see in the future ahead of time was a good idea? Or maybe telling us that you could have gotten us to him this entire time instead of just trying out a certain route? You don't think that was a good idea?" "I'm telling you now," says Naruto. "I'm starting to understand your stress," says Sai, as Naruto would then say to shut up. "The point is, I can track him, but because I had contact with him a long time ago, his chakra signature is a bit vague, and I used a lot of time that I drained from him, so it's more of an instinct," said Kakashi. "So that's why you didn't tell us." "See, I have a reason," says Naruto. "I'm still not gonna overlook the fact that you can see into the future." "Fair enough," said Naruto, "but it's not that surprising. That's why you guys can never land a hit on me. I can already tell what you're gonna do before you do it." Oh, speaking of all this time stuff, I'm gonna go take a break. I need to charge. If you guys see some shriveled up trees along the way, that was me. He then disappears in the blink of an eye, and Sai will then ask what he means by that, and Kakashi says that to use some abilities, Naruto stores up time by taking it from people or certain objects like trees that have lifespans. Interesting, thought Sai. After this little meeting, however, because Naruto said he had a certain sense of where Orochimaru was, they start heading wherever he goes, and they're completely diverging from the set path that they were supposed to be on. And as such, Kakashi sent a message back to Konoha, and soon they actually do near the hideout, and they come to a barren land and find their way into the base, and end up in the corridors of Orochimaru's underground base. It's dark and creepy. "Yep, he's here," says Naruto. In a flash, he would then run forward as Sakura goes to tell him to wait, but Kakashi says to stop. "We should go map out the area. He can take care of himself, but maybe we'll find something significant." He then sees Sai, as he looks to his right, melt into ink to reveal a hole underground, like underneath him, and Sakura gets angered, saying, "Why did he even leave?" "Because he's on another mission," said Kakashi. Naruto, meanwhile, will be checking every single room until he finds one where Sasuke and Orochimaru will be in, and as the two sense him, they become overwhelmingly on guard. "Oh, hey guys." Orochimaru would then explode with snakes, while Sasuke would then poof, but Naruto only smiles, as when the swarm reaches him instantly, Orochimaru finds himself in chronostasis, and the orb then breaks through the entire area, making everything cave in, but Naruto moves away in time, appearing atop the orb, as he would then land on it and see Orochimaru from above. "Hey there, buddy. Been a while, huh?" "You're not going anywhere." Snapping his fingers, he would then rewind Orochimaru to his original self, while also making the orb smaller, allowing him to land beside him on a piece of rubble, and he begins to circle the Sanin, who was completely unable to even use his chakra, finding it stopped somehow. Wait, I can speak. My lips, thought Orochimaru. He then asked Naruto why he let him speak, and Naruto then says, I'm hoping you'll tell me something, get something out of you, but you're not gonna do much, obviously. I just realized your real body, like your real body, is a freaking snake? How obsessed are you with the mortality? Jiraiya informed you, says Orochimaru. Yep. Funny thing is, if you just came to me, I could have done it. Orochimaru, hearing this, asks what he means, and Naruto says that while he cannot make him the type of immortal being he envisions, he would live forever if he ever put a seal on Orochimaru. Your body will be stuck at a certain time while you continue to live out your life. As soon as he says this, Orochimaru begins to, he's a genius, so he begins to understand what this means. Time. It was all about time. My arms healed once I gave it enough nutrients because you took everything from it. It was always time. Incredible. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna take you back. Chrono Release. Clapping his hands together, he then forms a scroll as his chakra would then excite and entrance Orochimaru. Sealing Jutsu. Time Lock. The orb would then envelop and attach to Orochimaru while regressing in size before then melding with him as the seal is then done, and he falls over, unable to even move. He looks like a stick figure, but he is still able to speak, as long as Naruto wants, of course. Picking him up, Naruto then turns to the hall filled with rubble and looks around, seeing that this isn't gonna work, so using his time powers, he creates a chronosphere that rewinds time of the room specifically, returning it to normal. And at that moment, as he walks out, down the hall run his team to meet him, minus Sai, and Sakura would then ask, what about Sasuke? Naruto leaves behind only a silence to her question before then saying, found him, let him leave. He then walks past him as Kakashi asks if he realizes what he just did, and Naruto says, yeah, so what? You will get an earful from the council. I know you don't care, but it was my choice, says Naruto. I'm fine with the consequences. I won't keep my friend locked up. Sasuke can change, and I know you know he can. We will end this part here. And welcome to the end of the video. Holy crap, I can't believe it. We made it to 22k. Thank y'all so much for the support. And I can finally scream again because I recorded the intro when it was like practically morning. Didn't want to scream too much. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this part. I'll be bringing out the next one very fast. I am aware I need to finish my other what ifs. I really got to stop doing that stuff where I just stack stuff like other what ifs on top of each other, even though I know it's not going to help me with my schedule at all. My schedule already sucks. I don't really know where I'm gonna go with this story yet. In the next part, I'm gonna ask you guys for some pointers because I do have a bit of writer's block. So I want you guys to dictate how the story goes. If anything, if Naruto ends up like in some trouble, I wouldn't really mind. He's like OP as hell. I can do whatever the hell I want with him, and it would still be fun. Someone had the fun idea of introducing Ototsukis early, like maybe in replacement of Lucifero, because I can't really make devils come up in here, but I could make an Otsutsuki just show up to level out the playing field, even if just a little bit. They're gonna get destroyed, but you get the point. Tell me down below what you guys think. If you like the idea of the Otsutsuki, tell me how I can make it better, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. On the freeway, watch me chase back, watch us gun black.